Hi, my name is Erin Quick, and today I'm going to be talking to you about assessments for young learners. Before we get started with talking about assessments, I'm going to give you some background information on Lev Vygotsky and his social culture theory of learning. Lev Vygotsky believed that children learn from their interactions with society and their culture. His theory had two main principles. The first was the more knowledgeable other. It refers to anyone who has a better understanding than the learner. This person is normally thought of as being the teacher. The second principle talks about the zone of proximal development. It's the difference between what a child can accomplish alone and what he or she can accomplish with the guidance of someone else. There are two features of the zone of proximal development. The first is scaffolding. It is assistance given by the teacher to assist the learner to accomplish a task. This means that the teacher shows an example of how to solve a problem. At the same time that she's showing this example and teaching the kids, she's also controlling the learning environment so the students can take things step by step, expand their knowledge, and not have any type of frustration going on in the learning process. The other feature of the zone of proximal development is reciprocal teaching. It's a highly successful teaching method that provides an environment of open dialogue between the student and the teacher. It goes beyond a simple question and answer session. There are four basic principles that go along with the Vygotsky theory. Basically, children construct their knowledge. Their development cannot be separated from its social context. Learning is mediated, and language plays a big role in mental development with children. So, how do we translate this theory to the classroom? Learners should be assessed in groups and social settings, and teachers should develop positive relationships with their students to help them excel. So, how do we assess young learners? So, we provide pre assessments, which are done before instruction, and we provide formative assessments, which are during instruction, and summative, which are done after instruction. The reason why we do pre assessments is to activate prior knowledge and to see what our students already know. And this also helps us plan our lessons for the day or for the week or for the unit. Formative assessments are ongoing assessments that are used to check the student's understanding throughout the instructional unit. So it helps teachers make adjustments along the way. It helps them to put students in flexible groups, and it also helps to differentiate instruction. Summative assessments are done after instruction. Why? So that we can assess what students have learned at the end of the unit. These are normally written or oral exams. They can be projects, they can be performance tasks, but they should match the learning that took place. Formative assessments are assessments for learning, and they're a vital part of successful teaching in the classroom. They should be practiced continuously throughout the learning process. There are many benefits of formative assessments. They can identify current knowledge and skills. They help teachers plan for the strengths and needs of their students. They can help evaluate student growth over time. They promote motivation. They also evaluate the effectiveness of instructional strategies. And they also promote parent advocates. Formative assessments also provide vital information and feedback to everyone involved in the learning process. They greatly improve the atmosphere of the classroom and the overall student achievement of the class. All right. Formative assessments are tools that teachers use to give feedback to students and or guide their instruction. So what are some types of formative assessments that we see in the classroom? We can see individual and partner work going on. We can see small group and whole group assessments. We see reflections as a form of formative assessment. We see writing assignments. Children might summarize what they learned today, write that information in their journals. You see KWL charts. Students can tell us what they know already about a subject, what they want to learn, and after the lesson is over with, they come back together and they tell them what they have learned or the things that they still need assistance with. Teacher conferences are another type of formative assessments, and cooperative learning groups. Formative assessments can be key in keeping up with the ever changing abilities of students. In a first grade classroom, many students are beginning to have a strong concept of reading and they're rapidly growing as young readers. Individualized formative assessments, such as a reading conference between the student and the teacher, can be used to determine the individual reading ability of each student. First grade teachers also use other assessment methods to determine if their students are meeting their lesson objectives. Rubrics are used to measure progress in writing, speaking, listening, or other broad concepts. For example, a writing rubric for a first grade lesson might include the objective, then it'll include 4 levels of understanding of the objective. Normally, you see rubrics used with performance based projects. A checklist is a list of skills or concepts that students are expected to know or behaviors that they should exist. Teachers will run through a list of items and note whether or not each student has met the objective or not with a quick check mark. So checklists can be used with individuals or small groups of students. Teachers might also use checklists on students to monitor progress over time, or they can complete an isolated checklist on a set of objectives. So checklists keep teachers focused on measuring the same skills for each student. Observations are also another form of assessment that can be used with young learners. Observation helps to make subjective assessments on students. Teachers can observe students one on one, in small groups, or as a whole group. So, small group or individual observations are often necessary when the objective is a more complex objective, like students will use comprehension strategies to understand written text. And lastly, portfolios. A portfolio is a compilation of each student's work over a designated period. Teachers keep a portfolio for the entire school year, while others might limit the time to a semester or a certain period of time. Portfolios allow teachers to show parents examples of what their child's work looks like. It makes it easy to show progress in areas like handwriting or writing or art, for instance. So, an organized portfolios are organized by subject to show a student's progress over time. And when you allow students to monitor their own portfolio, it encourages responsibility and pride for their learning. Teachers challenge young learners to learn bigger and better things each and every year when they walk into the classroom. Formative assessments function as documentation. We collect data on our students. We use them for evaluation. We compare them to the standards to make sure that we are teaching what they should be learning. And we also use formative assessments as a way to communicate with families and share the progress of their students in our classrooms. Formative assessments are a valuable tool in the classroom. It is an ongoing process that helps to guide the learning and the future instruction of lessons. Thank you for listening to my topic on assessing young learners. The last slide shows the references that I use in order to compile my information. Thank you.